What's up, friends? What's happening? It's Wednesday morning, and if I sound really low today, that's because I got a little bit of a cold going on. I probably feel better than I sound. I sound pretty terrible, but I'm excited to spend some time with you. So, Nancy, thanks for joining us. Jake, Bob, oh, we got Rebecca here. This is great. Lena, thanks for joining us. We got KM A Rod or I don't know your first name there. I can kind of see your face. That's great. Lisa. Hi Nancy. Thanks for joining us. Hi Carrie. I saw you walking your bulldogs on my way home, I think yesterday. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. This is great. If you did not tune in on Monday, our one step towards purpose was about rhythm. And how when you find your rhythm, you find your life. That God actually has a rhythm. Work 6 days, rest one, and by rest, that does not mean get caught up on everything around the house. If you've ever been to Israel, or if you have Orthodox Jews in your vicinity, in your world, they take the Sabbath off. Like, don't push buttons on elevators. There, as a Westerner, some of the rules seem a little quirky. Um, but man, when I was in Tel Aviv on Shabbat, it was like the whole place shut down. And so it's a fascinating experience. So it's a little bit of like there's a rhythm to life, there's a rhythm to your body, there's a rhythm to your heart. Like everything in the universe operates on a rhythm. And so I encouraged you to do an audit of your time. And maybe you started and you got through like a quarter of the day on Monday and you're like, shoot, oh man, I just got busy, distracted, whatever, with whatever else was going on. I get it. I've done the same thing. So you could start again today if you want, but kind of work through that rhythm of your day, of your week, to get a real clear idea of where your time is going. You can't know what rhythm needs to change until you actually kind of have an idea of where your rhythm is going. And so I'm really glad you're here to continue that conversation. If you have prayer requests, put them in the chat. That would be great. Um, it's I love seeing you all interact with each other. Oh, the Lipperts are on. Man, that's great. Praying for Valerie. Valerie posted a prayer request. I love that you all are praying for each other and with each other in the chat as well. So keep that going. Today, I want to talk about something that maybe you've heard before and maybe you've experienced before. Maybe you're experiencing right now, and it's called burnout. And so, if we were created to live within rhythm, when you start pushing your rhythm, when you start pushing beyond your created rhythm, then you're at risk for fatigue. And the longer you do that, you're at risk for burnout. So, let me clarify what's the difference between being tired and being burnout, right? Tired is when you're physically, mentally, emotionally tired, and some rest, a nap, some extended rest, a vacation will typically help, right? So my rhythm is to just go, go, go. And eventually you can do that. And maybe you're like Superwoman, but eventually your body will start to say no. And then we get stuck. So tired, an extended break will revive and energize you. Burnout, a vacation doesn't help. So here's phase 1 of burnout. A day off doesn't help. You feel stuck in a crazy cycle. You decrease replenishment activities, or you're unaware of what replenishes you. And so I'm not picking on Sue here, but you just kind of go, 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 to the point where you potentially you increase numbing behaviors. So you just start scrolling through your phone. It's like you start working that over and over and over. Okay. Now, burnout doesn't mean busy. You can be really busy, but not burn out. You can have a stressful job and not burn out. Burnout is ultimately about how you replenish. So, phase 1, days off don't help, stuck in a crazy cycle. You decrease replenishment activities, you increase numbing behaviors, which could include drugs, alcohol, whatever. It could include just mindlessly binging on Netflix or whatever. That's phase 1. Phase 2 of burnout is where you start to carry a low grade depression. You have apathy about anything, even the things that you love to do aren't enjoyable anymore, like you're not motivated to do those things, you start fantasizing about quitting or leaving or just running away. You're uninterested. I said that already. Not even able to enjoy the good stuff. You increase or you become like aggravated when you can't engage in numbing behaviors. And then burnout phase three is clinical. It's like you can't get out of bed. So I don't know where, for some of you, where you're at in the burnout phases, but burnout is ultimately, oh, Michelle's there right now. Burnout is ultimately about a lack of rhythm, a lack of boundaries. Oh, Parish, that sounds just like me almost. So I know there's a lot of people that are there right now. So uh, you may be tired, so maybe it's take some extended time off, but there may be some replenishment. There's a third category that I just want to give note to, and I don't have time to do a deep dive in it. Um, so burnout and depression are very similar. Depression is a part of burnout. So it, you, if you're really burnt out, you have like depressive symptoms, but just because you're depressed doesn't mean you're burnout. Does that make sense? So I think that was clear. So that's right. Let's keep praying for those that are burnout. I think prayer is helpful. But there's a third category. You could be tired, so get a day off or extended rest. Burnout phase one is recoverable with replenishment. Phase two is recoverable with some intentional replenishment and probably some therapeutic help. And phase three is recoverable, but it's clinical. It's going to be tough, right? And I know a lot of teachers that are headed that way this year. There's another area which is trauma, and trauma can also, and I'm starting to speak outside of the depth of my awareness, but my awareness of trauma, like post-traumatic stress disorder or syndrome, is most commonly thought of people in the military, right? So you're in the military, you have a traumatic experience, and that's true. I think if you experience any trauma, I don't want to equate it to what first responders and military individuals have, but you can have a, let's call it a low grade PTSD that you're carrying with you throughout your day, and that's really what's really important is to talk to someone about it. And so if you're talking to a group about how to get back to replenishment, then I think that that's helpful. So what do I mean by replenishment? You've got to find a healthy replenishment rhythm. If you look up the word replenishment, it's to make full or complete again. It's supplying what is lacking or used up. So replenishment is like putting fuel back in the car. To your physical body, it's what oxygen is. You're replenishing the oxygen that if you were to just hold your breath for a while, your body would start to be like, hello, hello, hello. You need a breath. Or like food is replenishment. And so Jesus wants to be that replenishment for us, but he also wants us to find ways to enjoy, if you will, some of the replenishment that's around us. So spiritually, spiritual replenishment is key, right? So replenishment, making sure you're living from God's grace and not for God's approval. Key difference there. We talk about that all the time. But Proverbs 21:20 talks about how the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. The wise store up food and choice olive oil, but fools consume or squander or devour. Another way that you could put this is like they go, 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 go without replenishing. Dave Ramsey talks about this verse a lot regarding money. He talks about it all the time, but I think the principle applies beyond just money. The wise know how to replenish, and the fool just goes, 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 goes. So, how do we do this? I want you to start thinking about the things that replenish you. And I know for some of us, it's like the only thing that's going to replenish me is a week off in Barbados somewhere with an umbrella drink, right? And that's great. Maybe it's time to plan that trip and put it on the calendar. Or if you're experiencing some bitterness, you're probably like, Ben, I'd really love to go on that trip, but I just can't. You don't know how hard it is. And that's fair. I may not know how hard it is, but perish put solitude. We have fall right now, which is a beautiful season up here in Northwest Ohio. A walk at a beautiful park for 30 minutes, oftentimes it can be magical. So maybe look at your schedule and find 30 minutes. Look at the weather over the next week and find 30 minutes to go on a walk. Here's what my replenishment rhythm is. I need to be running a couple of days, at least a week. So, running a couple days a week, I need to be spending time connecting with God in the morning, journaling on a consistent basis. Doesn't need to be daily, but just journaling. There's incredible scientific research out there that shows if you journal for 3 to 4 days within a week's time, it lowers so many mental health adverse effects, negative mental health aspects. Just having a place to be honest. So journaling for me is a key part of that. I need to be learning something new. That could be watching a video, listening to a book, reading a book, whatever. So I need to be physically active. I need to be spiritually active. I need to be learning something new. And I need to have some mischief with my brother in law or a friend or Lauren or the kids or some small fun like that would be an experience. I'm an experience collector. That would be an experience that would be fun, and that does not have to be super expensive. Like, one of the things that's on my radar with my kids is there's a, Cuyahoga Falls, there's like, a canopy walk over on the, eastern side of Cleveland. I'm looking forward to going there over the next couple of weeks, right? So that's all great. A hug from your kids can go a long way. I agree, so sometimes it's just quality time with your family, but find things that aren't just, entertainment, but they're an exercise of replenishment. Laughter is replenishing for me, and so listening to comedians and creating space to laugh is replenishing. So I want you to pay attention to what's replenishing for you and start intentionally scheduling that instead of mindlessly getting on your phone and scrolling through social media and all of that stuff. All right. Let me give an example. Like watching the game, your favorite team, if that stresses you out, if that makes you angry, then it's not replenishment. Okay. So, and maybe there's a deeper conversation like, why can't football just be entertaining? Why do I have to find my identity in there or whatever team you're watching? I get it. It's like I love cheering for Notre Dame, but do I love it when they lose? No, I don't love it. But am I bothered by it? No, I'm not bothered by it. I see it as entertainment, right? So find the things that replenish you and then just start incorporating doses of them throughout your week. And so if you want, write down somewhere how you feel today. Those of you that are burnt out, look at your schedule, but you got to know what you got to do your time audit and then figure out where to put them in because the wise store up choice food and oil, but a fool gulps or consumes or just mindlessly goes through the motions. And I think when you think about Jesus, when Jesus invites us to take up his burden, to come to him. Maybe some of the reason you feel burnout is because you're carrying responsibility for a lot of other people that was never yours to carry. You're feeling responsible for others' happiness. You're feeling responsible for others' safety and success. You can be concerned about it, but ultimately you're not responsible. So, hopefully, if we're going to take steps towards purpose and live it out over the long haul, here's what I could go on and on about this. But I have a feeling the next 12 to 18 months are going to be just as challenging as the last 12 to 18 months for different reasons, maybe. But I think the mental health crisis, we're at the beginning of this, not at the end. And so I think for what our community needs, thanks, Kelly. I think what our community needs is people who are able to consistently show up in an environment that's constantly changing, that's stress filled, but not be beaten up, burnout, and exhausted. So that's my encouragement, and that's my prayer for you. In fact, if you're sitting here today listening and you're feeling burnout, I would love for you to just take a deep breath with me. Open up your hands and tell God, God, I'm feeling burnout today. Just tell him right now. Give it to him. God, I pray for every person that feels like they're carrying a burden that's crushing them, for those that are burnout. And God, would your spirit just come alongside of them and lighten the load? God, maybe apply some pressure to some areas that need to change. Maybe some mindsets about what we're actually responsible for versus what we're not. God, would you maybe apply some pressure to put some personal boundaries in? God, would you shine a little spotlight on some replenishment rhythms that can bring life back? And God, would you encourage each of us to spend time with you throughout the day, each day, in the car, prayerfully bringing our burdens to you, trusting you with them? I pray for every person that's feeling that today. May they experience your grace, your love, and the fact that they're not alone, that burnout is normal. It doesn't mean they're a failure. It just means they need to incorporate a little more of you and some life replenishing rhythms. So help us all with that in Jesus' name. Amen. Awesome. Well, thanks, y'all. I'll take my plugged nose off the air, and we'll see you this weekend, Hollow Weekend at Cedar Creek. Can't wait. It's going to be a fun. It's going to be a fun experience. So we'll see you later.